Hi, so I'm gonna jump straight into where I left off. Spoonie's next complaint is that the president, who Squall is trying to capture for the Forest Owls, they knew his travel habits and didn't know he was a replica, as in a fake. And you know why? Well, that's because the game tells you there was fake information given out about him. Also, another one is people complain about this a lot, is why the guards didn't feel trains coupling and decoupling and things like this, and why they didn't check outside the train. I mean, have you ever been on a train? There's bumps and stuff all the time, and why would you check outside it? I mean, God knows what. I mean, it's just not really a complaint. You might check outside it, but you equally might not. The next complaint is about how you can just turn 10 tents into 10 kiragas and you'll immediately have about 3,000 hit points. Well, that's perfect. That's, you know, if you can figure that out playing through the game, then well done. It's not going to last you forever. Probably last you into the second disc as a good thing for your HP, but it's not the be-all and end-all of the game. I didn't figure out when I was playing it. I don't know if you did. Then Spoonie complains about cards turning into magic, and even though you can do this, you still need to draw a lot of magic, he claims. You don't need to draw a lot of magic, and you don't need to turn cards into magic at all. You know, you just don't need to do that. Everything can be done by easier methods of refining. Then there's this quite big criticism that a lot of people always bring up. It's that if there's signal interruption blanketing the world, that stops all radio communication. Why are they using a radar? Why are they fixing a radar? And why did it take 17 years for them to do it? Well, the game explains 17 years ago Laguna put Adele into space, and that this blanketed the world in radio static. And at this point, radio communications became impossible. But now, as the events of Final Fantasy VIII unfold, the world is no longer blanketed in radio static, and that's why they're rebuilding the communications tower. That's why Biggs and Wedge can summon the spider with a radio remote control. And it's quite well explained in the game. There's still radio static, but it's becoming available again to transmit through the airwaves. Spoonie then complains about the fact that there's a 60-foot wide jumbotron with random interference that looks like the Matrix. Well, this is quite a cool part of the game. It's Adele sending messages through the remaining static. If you read it closely, it's not like the Matrix. It's actually words saying in capital letters, you know, I'll never let you forget me, and all this kind of stuff, which is really cool. The game's intriguing you, and I just thought that was a really cool feature of the game that obviously Spoonie missed. Obviously then, I've already mentioned this, but the wireless remote summons the spider. There's radio interference in there. Well, no, of course there isn't. That's why they're clearing the damn tower. Spoonie. Anyway, the plan to get the president is his next complaint. You knew the guards would be there, you know, when they rush in and Cypher does it. Well, that's a testament to Rhino's kind of childish character, and Squall is going along with it because it's his mission. I mean, that's quite clear in the game that the whole thing's kind of stupid. So to call it stupid is kind of stupid. Anyway, Cypher deserves a medal for kidnapping the president. That's what they were trying to do, wasn't it? Well, no. The cameras are rolling, and he even says this after he criticises. He says right afterwards, when Zell speaks about Garden, that the cameras are rolling. The cameras are rolling. Don't do it in front of the cameras. He then asks, well, says Cypher is easily manipulated by Edea. All she has to do is insinuate that he's a boy, and he joins her. Well, this is a woman who is essentially his mother. He grew up in an orphanage run by her, although he's forgotten it. She happens to be powered by the most powerful sorceress ever in existence, and she manipulates him at a time of high adrenaline and stress. I don't really think it's that implausible. Why is Rhaenyra leading a resistance movement? Well, again, this is the liberal daughter of the general of Galbadia, kind of doing a silly little resistance. She's probably never lived a day in her life, and I think the game does that justice. The resistance movement never seems very serious, and it always seems kind of childish. Unusual that Laguna has the same type of magic as Squall and all that. Well, that's just a feature of the game, but the game does actually mention it. Laguna mentions how weird it is when Squall starts thinking, and it's just a part of the game, and it's not done very smoothly, I'll admit, but it's just one of those things you don't think about. Suspension of disbelief, I guess. The old key in the lunatic Pandora he then complains about for some reason. Well, that opens up draw points later in the game. It's a little bit strange, I admit, why it has to be an old key. Maybe that's it made more sense to the Japanese audience, I don't know. One really cool thing about the lunatic Pandora that I found out was that when you're in it with Laguna, it's actually horizontal, and the places he drops the old key, you'll walk over when it's actually vertical with Squall, and that's where the draw points will be. I just thought that was kind of a cool part of the game, because obviously they've lifted it up and dropped it into the sea by the time Squall gets to it. His next complaint is Laguna tickling Ward. He says that Ward's throat is gushing with blood. It's not, you just made that up, I'm afraid, dude. Hiring the sorceress is obviously a bad plan. She's obviously evil. Well, President of Galbadia is being manipulated at this stage, so obviously he probably wouldn't have gone into the partnership with a clear mind. He then cheats with his seed exams and complains about it. Well, you can cheat in any game. I don't see why he complains the fact that you can cheat through seed exams. The answers you won't be able to find out unless you cheat at that stage of the game. He then goes into the brothers, the Forgotten Temple or whatever it's called, and complains that the girls ran out saying float. That's because they need float magic. I really don't get why that's stupid. Spoony constantly says that you should use in-game moves on characters outside of the battle, and this, I'm afraid, it's just RPG. You can't. It's not even RPGs. You can shoot people in various. Well, maybe it is an RPG. I don't know, GTA. You can't shoot people in that. You can't use your moves in, I don't know, Warcraft 3 on vendors and things like this. That's just the way games work. Sorcerer's speech, he complains about because it's obviously mental. Well, that's Ultimecia talking. And he asks why the people aren't running or they're scared. Well, this is a huge capital C. Some of them are when the monsters jump on them, and then others aren't because they haven't seen it, or they... I think the game does well to portray the sense of confusion for a game that was released in the 1990s. He then complains that Irvine doesn't shoot Edea. Well, it's essentially his mother. It's his... he was at the orphanage as well, and he hasn't forgotten that. That's the key thing, because he's never equipped a GF. And he can't understand why Squall and the others are being the way that they're being, because he hasn't found out that they've been equipping GFs. So, run out of time, and I'll come back with another video soon.